Minutes from May 27, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 27th meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I will second the approval of the minutes from May 27th. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions?
Looked good to me.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that passes. So move on to the approval of the accounts payable claim docket. I will make a motion to approve the accounts payable claim docket. I did not have any questions.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any questions from anybody?
What was on it? I looked, but
I saw there were, well, yeah. Okay.
no, you just, there is there
I'm
anything
good.
on the claim docket, or there's just on the,
What?
did you send that to me? Because I didn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
Butler
there was
Fireman,
down at the bottom,
wages.
that's why.
There were two Butler Fairmans.
Yeah.
That was the only, I figured they were just two different invoices.
Yes.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah, one was for,
It's just the timing when they come in.
it just happened to overlap the two.
There's, one is 2024, one's 2025. They're two different bill, where the contract switched in the beginning of May. That's why there's two bills. They go to different contracts.
But that's just for the contract, right? For the-
Yeah. It just, they happen to overlap with the way we turned them in.
That's it, okay.
Okay. A motion and second. Don't have any further questions to vote approval of the accounts payable claim docket. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. So treasurer's report.
I'll give the treasurer's report since Mitch isn't here, but revenue year-to-date is $129,035.67. Disbursement year-to-date is $77,693.83. Balance beginning of the month was $1,086,036.43. Revenue month-to-date was $28,322.06. Disbursement month-to-date was $15,841.11. Current balance is $1,098,517.38.
Oh. Appreciate that. We'll move on to the MS4 permit update information.
You got anything?
Come on up.
wrote some notes so I didn't forget anything. So first off, last week was the kids fishing derby.
Name.
Sorry, I'm Julia Carrillo. I'm with Butler, Fairman, and Cipher. Usually Megan's the one here reporting,
Right.
but I work with the town as well. Okay, so kids fishing derby was last week on Thursday. I was in attendance. We had beautiful weather. I was getting a little nervous because it was supposed to thunderstorm, but it didn't. It was a really nice day, great participation. Brian gave a 15-minute chat about stormwater. And then Public Works brought over some equipment like their street sweeper and some other pieces with a sign that said your MS4 dollars at work, which I thought was pretty cool. So that will count for one of two required item educational events for stormwater. The second one is the Boo Bash, the trunk or treat event that is in October. Q2 facility inspections. So I have the Parks Department scheduled for Thursday just to go look at the facility and make sure they're in good shape from a stormwater perspective. After the fishing derby, I went to Public Works to do their inspection. There were no major deficiencies, but I did make some small notes just about like things like their spill kits, missing some letters, so that needed to be just repaired in case item ever comes, they want that clearly labeled. The outfall on site had some pooling around it, but Public Works already took care of that. They were able to regrade the north side, so it's now properly draining. And then I spoke with Vic about maintenance logs for the collection unit that's attached to the floor drains. They don't have any historic maintenance logs, but we talked about when they get that service, he said about every 1.5 to 2 years, they need to keep logs of that. They added riprap to the area near the salt barn that was having some erosion issues. I was here earlier with the meeting with Michael when it was raining, so I ran over there with Megan to go look at it, and it looks like it's doing okay. And then some other items, we're working to get Michael his 12 training hours that are required annually. We had a meeting with InstaTurf, which is an erosion control measure. They did a little presentation for about 1.5 hours earlier, so that will get him a credit. I have completed drafts of the Stormwater Quality Management Plan and Water Quality Characterization Report given to Michael. We just need the outfall info from the survey you guys are having done. Once that's done, we'll input that information into those drafts and they'll be able to be complete. And then I am currently working on an illicit discharge detection elimination plan and standard operating procedures for the town. And then we are working to get like a big comprehensive binder of stormwater materials set up for Michael. So if item ever comes, you just have like your nice binder of all your important documents like stormwater quality management plan, water quality characterization report, your facility SWIPs, just so you have it all in one place so it's easy. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well done. Next, public comments. Crickets. All right, moving on. Reports by Michael Berry. Updates.
Still working on the GIS auditing update, just takes time. North Bailey, NIPSCO completed the gas service reloads last Friday, so they're done. Dyer's gonna set up a pre-con meeting after the 4th. They sent in all their shop drawings already, all the easements are done and recorded. The change order for the easement work should be here shortly. Keith's on vacation, so when he gets back, right after the 4th, we'll have that last change order with the stuff we added for the easements. And then we can set pre-con and get started on the project.
That's good.
About time. Carlson Corners. So Carlson Corners, we got our bids back. I also got quotes. I'm gonna do the trees first. I got 2 quotes back on the trees. Justin's tree service was $13,000. Tree Max was $20,000. I sent it to like 7 companies. Justin's got 2 days blocked out, August 4th and 5th, because he's so backed up. So I talked to Goff, who is our low bidder for the construction work, and they said that date will work fine because that's about when they want to start. So they're not going to start on that until the beginning of August because of where they're all booked up to. So my first item is to approve Justin's tree service quote for $13,000 even for removing trees and stumps along the project. I got a copy of it if you want to look at it. It doesn't say much, it just says that.
That's new business.
Well, it's under my report. Yeah, it's down below. Yeah, no, you're right, never mind. We'll get to that. Goff was the low bid. We sent that to all the, sent that to the attorney, checked all the math, everything was good on it. They did a bid summary, so that, we'll talk about that in a minute. Small project quotes, Great Lakes Engineering had to make some corrections. They got those back, so I'm gonna put that together. I wanna talk to the attorney about something later before I do that, and then I'll send that out. But that was 20th Street, 1st Street, West Burwell, Hunters Glen, and Vine Street Ditch. Now that I have everything back, I can send it out. I had 3 new complaints that I haven't looked at yet.
Does that include
Yeah. Go ahead.
the one, Bill and you and I went and looked at?
Yeah. Vine Street did.
That's Vine Street,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's the easiest thing on the list. Yeah. So I've got 5 different things that are put together. I just want to check something with the attorney before I send it out. For complaints, we had another complaint. We've had this one before. 440 and 440 Francis say water is running into the basement of one house and in the garage in the other. We had quoted adding an inlet there a couple of years ago, and it was like $26,000, so we didn't do it. I want to try and look at another way to fix it, maybe with some curbing or something.
Where's the water
Can I
coming
come?
from?
Street, there's no curb, so the water runs down to Indiana and just goes into this driveway. The previous owner of 440 had put in a concrete driveway, and then after we repaved the road's higher.
Can we go look at it with you, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because there's a catch basin just north of there on Indiana Street. I think it's more of how do you get the water there than dropping an inlet on top of a 24-inch pipe. It's too expensive. 1509 Birch, water sits in the yard. It's lowered and everything around it. All the water runs to one spot and stops. I went and looked at that. I can sketch it up and send it to you guys if you want to go look at it.
Where's that?
1509 Birch Street,
Where's
right
that?
off Canolke. It's the next street over.
I'll back, okay.
And it's
okay.
just really, she's the low spot on the street, and all the water sits there.
Is that on the, which side of Waverly is that on?
West side, next street over from Ash, where they're building all the houses. But it's one of those, you know,
To
you
the
look
west.
at it and you're like,
Yep.
why doesn't it go anywhere? You know, all the culverts run down to her yard and then it stops. So it just sits there. 1500 Waverly is the first new house on the west side that Markovich built. There's that Detroit Road right away next to it. There's no ditch through the Detroit Road right away.
Yep.
So the water stops, comes over the top, makes a mess. There should be a ditch put through there. I think we can do that ourselves. You know, if I get the guys to go out and try and cut that, they don't know how they can screw that one up. It's not that hard, but there's no ditch. So it needs to continue through so the water keeps going. John Seacrest and I went and looked at it because the lady's wanting us to clean up the right of way. I mean, honestly, it's fine, other than there's some grass that might need knocked down a little bit, but we don't normally, what's a good word? We don't normally maintain unbuilt right of ways for roads. The trees look fine. I didn't see any problem with the trees. She just wants some stuff cleaned up. 2 of the items are Markovich's. One's a siltworm and the other one's a list, you know, just a pile of stuff. So he needs to move that. He'll be back tomorrow, so I can talk to him. But the ditch does need to get cut through there, so
Cool.
that might be an in-house project, I think.
Now, that one, where's that one you said, Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit Road doesn't exist, but the right-of-way is right before that house. So there's an empty, you know, right-of-way with trees and squares in it.
West of Ash, right?
Yeah, east of Ash, south of Ash,
South.
all of the above, right? Yeah, so the first house you hit that was new, it's just before that house. There's like a red house, then an empty space, that's the right of way. But there's,
Between the new house and the old house on Waverly?
yeah. there's
That's where
no
Detroit
ditch.
is supposed to be?
Yeah, there's no ditch there. So the culvert flows north and then doesn't go anywhere. So that guy's yard gets full of water. And he talked to me about it. And then hers,
Now, that doesn't have nothing to do with the elevation of the ditch in front of the house at 1500, does it?
no, ditch in front of her house is fine. It's just there's no ditch on the right of way.
If it's the old road, we have the right of way,
Which could be
the easement.
simple as, you know, shovel digger, knock it out, be done with it. Doesn't even need a culvert, just needs open. So,
Well, it doesn't, it's not going through it anywhere where it would need a culvert, right? There's
no,
no,
there's no driveway, so it just needs to be open ditch, straight across. You don't even need to get out of your car to look at it, it's real easy, you can see it when you go by. But that way the ditch would continue where it's supposed to go.
So on old business, I was curious about the Michigami. You know, we did that study and.
Yeah, that's on the, so with what we have with paving funds
Yep.
and trying to figure out what to pave next. So Michigami needs paved, Dune Meadows needs paved, which is all the way through Wagner Hills and Dune Meadows. Those are the well, two of the three big ones. Mineral Springs Road is the last one. That's not gonna get done until the bridge is done. So there's no point paving that and having to tear it up, put the bridge in, so. Those are the two big ones, Michigami neighborhood and the Dune Meadows Drive, because that's not been paved yet. But Schnadenberg wants to do 23rd Street, which is another problem, but we split that one. So now we're like, pinching our funding for paving and trying to figure out how much we can pave. So we're usually planning out about 3 years on that stuff.
Okay.
So those are the ones we're looking at. But Michigami area, that's gonna be, stormwater also on top of paving, so.
Right.
We'll
I
have
was
to
just
figure
wondering,
that out. Corinne sent you guys a very nicely detailed,
I know, I
yeah,
read,
so
I
that's
thanked her for
part of
doing
what we have to sit down and look at that and try and figure out where we're gonna spend that money that's left over. Cause the two big projects we get out of the way, we need to start looking at what we're gonna do next. The Lake Michigan coastal funding looks like it's gonna pop up for the master plan, so as soon as that's available, we'll put that out for quotes, whatever.
This is, talk me through we did the study, we got 30% plans, we kinda know what size pipes and where we need to
Yep,
put
we
them.
know where the pipes need to go for the main pipes, yeah.
Correct. So,
And you can put
We'll-
that into CCMG, you can put stormwater. Now, they changed the law from 25% match to 20, so we pick up 5%. Which
are
is
you
okay.
gonna be asking us for funds
don't know
related
yet.
to that project this fall, next year?
It wouldn't be this fall, no. Cause what we're gonna do next probably is gonna be Dune Meadows Drive. That's in worse shape than most of that area, as far as the road goes. And then get back to that and try and finish it off. 'Cause
Okay.
there's not enough money. That'll take probably 3 different shots to pave that and fix stormwater. I don't think we'll need stormwater funds. If we can use CCMG funds, we don't need stormwater.
Right, but you're gonna cut, to put it stormwater infrastructure is gonna be
Yeah.
stormwater funds, right? At the time of paving, right? It's all gonna be done at the same project time, right?
Well, that needs to be discussed, because
Okay.
if we use just the regular town funds, we're probably not gonna have enough money to do that in less than 3 years. Yeah. So we would have to debate, if we wanna use stormwater funds for part of that match, cause our match is
Okay.
the issue.
I didn't know if you were gonna ask to go saw cut. X part, dig it, put it in, and then they come in and pave it a year or two later.
We could,
Right, I know they
yeah, we could do it in
I
pieces.
didn't know what your plan
With
was.
CCMG funds, if we use CCMG funds, we only pay 20% of that cost, otherwise we're paying all of it. So I wanna try and do it so it's the cheapest way possible. Where the state pays 80% of it, that's gonna save us a lot of money,
Right.
But we'll probably have to break it down into, I'm assuming it'll be Michigami, as far as we could go on Michigami first, cause that's where the trunk lines go, and then do the side streets after that. But it's gonna be more than a year. It's like Porter Cove, it's what, 3 years to pave all Porter Cove, so. Be something like that.
And then are those small bids or small projects, are you gonna lump them like we've been
They're all
doing?
lumped together. I just was waiting for Great Lakes to fix something, so,
Okay, and that'll be next meeting?
yeah.
Okay. That's under
Correct.
old business.
Yep,
Anything else?
that is it.
Nope,
Nope.
nope, we can go to new business.
Okay, now we'll move on to,
Well, before we go to, I guess,
let's,
where are we at with the stormwater? So you said with
old
with the
business.
updating our,
The master plan.
GIS.
no, the stormwater fees and that, are we?
The auditing?
Tammy's doing most of the heavy lifting on that, although we're both looking at it, and it's tedious to pick through. And as soon as we get all the stuff corrected, we'll know what we're bringing in before we change the amount on the fee. Because right now, we're
Well,
$6.
I'm not regarding it, I mean, I know we talk about changing the fee across the board, but I
Right.
mean, just what, we're supposed to be auditing proproperties that aren't being properly.
Yeah, she's doing that.
So have we found any, or we
Oh, yeah.
finding any?
Oh,
or-
yeah,
Yeah.
so if they're not being billed, she's added them and they're being billed. Some of those went up substantially because we now billing them correctly, so they're getting billed correctly. So if you go, we bill every 2 months, so it's gonna probably be, 4 months before you start seeing
Right, the increase.
the actual number of money, or amount of money that's coming in, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but she's doing most of it.
No, that's, I just wondered if, if we're finding stuff, if
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
if it's,
yeah. Yeah,
So you're
we're-
not only
finding a
identifying
lot of
the
stuff.
deltas, you're implementing.
right,
Mhm.
good.
So then you look at the $6 fee, is that enough, or you wanna bump it up to 8, or, you have to see what you're bringing in, and then where that's gonna go and what we project forward, so. I'll say, all that's gonna roll in the fall when we get to the master plan and looking at this, and figure out what we wanna do with the fee. Cause we're low with $6, that's very low. And you're bringing in 30 grand.
Yeah, roughly.
Do you have like are you creating a list of questions or undecided? Is there anything that's gonna be, as far as this updating, Tammy and Mike, that's gonna want to come to the board's attention?
The ordinance has to be changed.
Yeah, ordinance has to get updated because some of the verbiage is not quite right.
No changes can be done until the ordinance is updated, because I talked to Corinne about it, so no changes have been done yet.
No,
Because we have to
The ordinance has gotta be in
update the
line with-
update, yes.
All right.
yeah, I can have that ready
So
next month.
that should be the next thing, is updating the ordinance.
Yeah, I got a
So we
draft
get the
of it already.
update ordinance done, then I can go and change what needs to be changed, and then we can go forward. But I can't do anything until the ordinance gets updated.
Makes sense.
Are we billing the national park for all of their residential lots?
I don't want
That's
to
something
talk
that we-
about the national park.
That's something that we can do, though.
Again, I don't agree. but-
That doesn't require an ordinance.
We are billing the
Well, it does.
national
It
park.
It actually does, yeah.
Some of them are not being billed correctly, some of them we're not supposed to be billing.
Yeah.
So yes, we are billing them, but it's all messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
gotta be-
was just wondering if we were, and I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah. We're billing them for developed properties. Anything that's got anything developed on it. Not vacant lots.
Understandable. We good with old business, move on to new
Yep,
business? All right, new business, Mike.
We'll definitely debate that, yeah.
You wanna start with the tree and
Yeah,
then
so
Carlson
back
Corner?
to the trees, low quote, Justin's Tree Service, $13,000. And like I said, he blocked out, August 4th and 5th to do the work.
I'll make a motion to approve Justin's tree service for tree removal. How many trees is it though, Mike? Do you know?
It's like 17 trees and 5 stumps or something
Wow.
like that, yeah, there's a lot of trees.
Yeah,
Most of them aren't, I'm gonna call them trunks. So some of them are groups of trunks, and some of them are big trees. But it's all of the trees that are in the way of the piping. So
so are they removing the stumps then too then, or?
There's 5 stumps that are along the road that are already stumps. Those will get ground all the way down. The trees that are cut to stumps on the inside of the ditch, they will grind them as far as they can, and then the rest would be the excavator will pull them out.
Right.
It's just,
So when they lay the pipe-
otherwise the tree will fall over if they
Right,
dig it
so
up.
that's,
yeah.
that'll fall onto,
It'll be on Goff, yeah.
and that's not gonna, there are not gonna be any extras on that, is there? They
No, it's part of
anticipate
their,
that?
part of their bid, yeah.
All right.
So we have a motion, I'll make a second for Justin's tree service. Any questions, further questions?
And
Not-
then is Justin's gonna, are they gonna close the road too when they do their?
Yeah, we'll have to, it's just too dangerous.
I don't think
Good
it's
question.
an issue, they just need to,
No,
try to put some notices
just when
out
we're
ahead of
working,
time.
so we just put sign up and then, put it in
If-
the website and everywhere else.
I think if we could put some signs up that'll say prior to it that
Yeah,
road
that's
will be
what
closed
we
during the
did.
day for,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what we
so-
did before, so you give them notice and then everybody knows.
right.
Cause it's really difficult, like Porter Cove residents, it's hard on you guys, it's a long way around, so.
Yep.
Yeah. But 2 days is what we got blocked out for that.
And then golf's gonna do the same thing, right?
Mhm.
What is their timeline on that completion on that? Do they have a,
I don't know yet. We'll have a discussion on that next week.
yeah, I was just curious, because it seems like they could do it relatively,
It'd be the same thing, closed during the day and open at
Right.
night, yeah. Did they vote?
yeah.
They voted.
Okay, so we're on the bid award, right?
No,
We didn't vote.
we didn't vote
Didn't
yet.
vote yet.
We
No,
did not vote.
Sorry.
We're in questioning, so, we have a motion, we have a second, no further questions, have a vote, all in favor to pay Justin's tree service for, Carlson Corner Tree, say aye. Aye, that passes.
Yay, okay. So on the bid tab for Carlson Corners, Goff's 274,677, Rudy Sutton was 299, 292.45. And then they go up from there. But we got 5 bids and they were all complete and everything was correct. Attorney went through Goff's, everything was good. I have the Form 96 that needs signed, and then we will prepare, we already have it written, but we send them a contract, and then they'll send back the contract and actually sign the contract. But the Form 96 I have right here with the, here, damn it, with the tab sticking on it. But, yeah, that worked out a lot better than 700 grand. That was the last.
How come Rudy's so much higher on, it's just the material?
You know what's funny? If you go to the first line, 24-inch pipe, and
Right.
look at Goff's number.
Right,
I actually called them and asked them if that was right, because that's why they won the bid.
right.
If you
That's
change
the
that
biggest
to
difference.
anybody else's number, they're higher, yeah. And they said that was correct, so they must have a stash of 24-inch pipes sitting around.
Well, that includes installing.
Yeah, so all of these, the way that this was written as a bid is all of the overhead and profit and mob and demob is
into-
built into these numbers.
Yes.
So they're all added on, that's why they're kinda odd, but that's really the reason their bid's lower is that pipe item. And I called them right afterwards and asked, is that correct? And they said, yeah, it was correct. All right. Because otherwise Rudy would've been low.
Yeah, he's cheaper on a lot of
On about everything except that pipe. Yeah.
Right, everything else he's lower on, but he's
Yeah, he
significantly
wasn't real
higher.
happy about it, he really wanted the job, so.
That's the game.
But, yeah, that's, so Paul Geis is the construction manager for Goff, he lives down in Porter Beach.
Yep.
So I
Yeah, we've
talked to
met
Paul.
before, I know.
Yeah, I talked to Paul already, so he said, yeah, we'll get the contract written up, and then, they probably would start, he was fine with the date to wait till the trees are down, and they're ready to go right after that. So I'm assuming they'll start first week of August, after Monday, Tuesday, so that'd be Wednesday. And then roads closed when they're working, otherwise it's open, and then we'll get a date when we get the contract signed, we'll get a time frame on the whole thing. I asked, I'm gonna say Great Lakes Engineering, because that's how we know them, Schneider Geomatics. I think I told you this, but I asked them for a very minimal construction administration task order. And I being very minimal, I don't want you out there all day, every day looking at it. It's a real simple project. If you need to review shop drawings, I want them to review the shop drawings. And then after that, it's very minimal inspection, because we can do most of this in-house. And I haven't got that back yet, so as soon as I get that back, I'll shoot it to you. But I don't want $28,000 worth of construction inspection, I don't need
No.
that, you know, some minimal number,
You get trip tickets from them.
about it. Tickets,
If you don't
inspection,
sign
no-
it,
there's no
if you-
testing
if
required.
you don't sign it, they don't get paid.
Yeah, there's no testing requirements for the driveways we're doing, there's just shop drawings and minimal
Just-
inspections, so.
Some compaction,
Yeah,
watch the
little bit of
contractors
stuff, but not a
actually-
ton, yeah,
not just
so.
filling it in.
So, that's what I'm waiting for still. But the golf stuff's really
So-
good to go.
Um,
I'm glad they were low, they were the only one that bid last time. That's nice.
Has Great Lakes put this out, right?
Mhm.
Have they reviewed
Yeah.
And this is they reviewed all the paperwork.
Yeah, I
They
asked him to
reviewed
send
that
me a letter of
everything.
recommendation, I didn't get it yet, so I said, never mind. I'll
But
just-
they can verify that each of these were all good bids.
Mhm.
They all have all of their,
Well, all the bids were correct, I did all that because no one else showed up at bid opening.
Okay.
I made this and sent it to them, and I went through all the bids, and all the bids are correct, so.
make sure that
I didn't,
paperwork,
they didn't show up for bid opening, so I did all that.
no pay, don't pay them.
And I sent the whole bid to Chris Willoughby, he reviewed the bid and everything was good, so.
Out of curiosity, we paid Great Lakes, what, $30,000 or $40,000 to update the drawing set?
I don't think it's that high. It's not very much.
Is that right? Since
I'd have to go look. but I
when
don't
we
think it was
paid
that high.
Haas and we paid Great Lakes, between those two drawing sets to get us, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know,
we invested
yeah.
$30,000 and we saved $300,000. Construction?
$400,000, yeah. So that's,
It's money well spent.
yeah, it's just taking too long.
Well, not quite 400,000,
Well, it
but,
was 700 in the first.
but that was the whole
Yeah.
project though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was all the way to.
Right, all the way to the other end.
We're
So
only doing
when we
half
do the
of it.
second part, it's all ditch work and it won't be that much.
But we're only doing
Shallow ditch.
half the job now. What is gonna be, where the piping starts on the east end, what'll be there, just one of those beehives or whatever you call
Where it
it?
starts,
Yeah, how's it,
on Mineral Springs, there'll be a flared end section and water flowing.
so it'll be just,
Open pipe flow into it.
so I guess my question, is there something to stop from it getting, debris getting clogged into that then, or?
Usually, yeah, like grate, what do you call it? A grate on the end of
Animal
the pipe. yeah.
Trash
Yeah,
collector.
Trash grabber thing on the end of it, making the angle like that. Yep,
Is it turned facing, or is it,
goes north, faces north.
it faces
I might do it
north?
backwards. 'cause,
Right.
yeah,
It faces north, makes a
And then
90, and
turns,
then
goes
just
all
goes
the way
straight
to
the rest of the way.
all the way to the ditch, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And there's 5 or 6 beehive grates on the way in there.
Isn't it says manhole structures,
Yeah, some of them are where they turn, so
Oh.
there's 8 manholes. There's a couple where you turn the corner and then there's 6 in the middle
okay,
so that'll catch all the water off the road.
and then it's open into the ditch, into Peterson.
Dumps right in the ditch, yeah. Gas lines are moved, all that's out of the way, just the trees and dirt on it.
Okay. Any further questions?
Neighbors are all happy too, by the way. With the ditch.
You good?
Gone, no ditch, pipe, they're all happy.
Oh,
So
it'll look much better.
it'll look way better.
Plus, there won't be water sitting in it all the time.
Yeah.
Are you,
I'm
you
good.
good?
No,
You
we're-
happy? Are you, not only are you good, are you satisfied? Are you?
Well,
Bill would have been happier 2 years ago.
I
As-
understand
as
that,
all of us
completely
would have.
agree, we all would have been.
looking at green water in the ditch no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Carlson Corner, bid for $274,677, for the phase 1 of the Carlson Corners ditch project.
Thank you, and I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further
I have
questions?
no further questions.
Let's take it to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
And for the record, Bill was right about Haas.
There you go.
Don't even,
Yep. We'll put that down. Nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting.